Hey, so I'm coming out of bought Secours this morning, and I'll share another side of my life, put it out there. Um, Over here at the outpatient clinic, pretty close to downtown Greenville, and had a really great experience in there. So I got to say, you hear all the horror stories and bad things about medical treatment and everything. I had an appointment at 8:15. I walked in at 7:58. I was checked in by 8 o'clock, and then I got called by 8:01, and it's about 10 minutes later, and I'm already out the door. And the nurse or the tech that did the CT scan was phenomenal. So anyway, had to get a CT scan, and the reason is that for those that don't know, anybody watching this, I don't like talking about this. I don't like putting this out there, but anyway, I'm a combat vet, and I was in pretty close to the first 15 months of the Iraq War. I did 12 months in Baghdad and 3 months in Iskandariyah. And I was around some stuff, a lot of contaminants. I was a saw gunner, which meant that it was out the top of the turret on 113s and particularly not Bradley's, Humvees quite frequently, and all this dust would kick up, and this place is dirty. It's kind of a third world country, some ways not. But back then, anyway, there was a lot of contaminants, gasoline, who knows what other kind of nasty stuff in the dust, and the sand was as fine as baby powder. So when the tracks would kick it up, I'd just be breathing, stuff that I couldn't see 3 feet in front of me, right into my lungs. And then, I had to do what we call stew shit, which means cut off 55-gallon drums from underneath the, commodes, places where people crap, and then you pour diesel fuel on it and you burn it. And that's the way that you got rid of it. And I was on that duty a lot because it was a private. And then the big one was that I was also in a long firefight. The whole thing probably took about 8 hours. Maybe 4 of those hours I was inside of a burning building that was made out of who knows what. The gunner had fired rounds from the Bradley 25 Mike rounds, and some of them probably had some bad contaminants in them and things that you're not supposed to be breathing. And while we were clearing people out from the first floor, he was firing into the second floor, and explosions were going off over my head. But we had women and children, little families we had to clear out of there. So it was leave them in there, and maybe stuff falls on their head, or they get hit or burned, or run in there and get them and pull them out. And then after we neutralized what was going on there, we ran into the building and checked the whole thing. And it was, I think 4 or 5 stories. I think 5, if I remember right. It was a square. In the center, it was just wide open with like a balcony, and then around the outside were doors to apartments. We had to clear each one, and they were probably 7 or 8, 10 on each floor. So we spent 4 hours in there clearing each apartment one by one, and the building was on fire while we were doing it, like literally on fire, smoke coming everywhere. And I was carrying 400 or 500 rounds of ammunition in the saw. About halfway through, I wound up having to hand the saw off to my buddy Neely because I couldn't take it anymore. I was gonna pass out. One of our sergeants actually was out of service for 1 whole month because he got smoke poisoning. Another guy on my squad got a heat stroke, and he passed out, and he actually had to be medevaced, and he got a complete amnesia, 100% total. Didn't remember his family, us, nothing. Didn't remember that he was in the Army, didn't know his name, complete and total amnesia. So of course he got bounced out. But anyway, I spent 4 hours running around in that thing as hard as I could. And it wasn't good for me. And then the other thing that I did was IED disposal, where we would go out and pull guard and unload these rounds while they would blow those things off. And anyway, I was around a lot of particulates. And about halfway through the deployment, when I would be sitting in the Bradleys for 4 or 5 hours, kind of hunched over on a bench back there with 5 other guys, it's very cramped. And you have your weapon in front of you. I'd lean forward. I started getting a pain underneath my right lung that developed while I was there, and I'd never really paid attention to it. I thought that it was just like a hernia or something like that. I thought it was muscular because the way that it felt. Well, they were going into my chest to check my lungs for breathing problems that I was having, and I thought I was just getting old and whatever. My lungs were going bad. Well, it turns out there's a growth in my right lung, and they don't know what it is. They've never gone in and pulled a piece of it out, but every 12 months I've got to go and get a CT scan done, a CAT scan, because of all this. And it was something that I don't know whether it could have been something from before, but it definitely developed and started hurting when I was in Iraq. And now we know that there is some sort of formation in there. So anyway, I just had my I think my third 12-month checkup on it. The last couple times it's been stable, hasn't changed size or moved or anything like that, so they've never wanted to go in and you know, grab a piece of it out to figure out what it is. Anyway, you know, the fun of being a veteran, one of my many doctor visits that I have to go to all the time. It's one of the main reasons that I'm doing Uber and Lyft full time now. I left a career of 13 years as, you know, multi-unit manager, district manager, regional director, connected community manager with AT&T Authorized Retail. And some of those positions were pretty cushy and nice, particularly that last one. But I wound up leaving that because I just wanted to exclusively focus on my health, and this is one of many things that I do, but I just kind of wanted to share that and, you know, put that out. And I thought, you know, maybe it might be interesting for somebody, if there's any vets out there or anybody, you got something wrong with you, you got a pain and you don't know what it is, and you just think, oh, it's just, you know, nothing, but it's long term, you better go and get it checked, because I thought I just had a hernia or something that was just a torn muscle. And it turns out I got a growth in my lung. Who knows what it'll be or what it'll turn into one day. But I got to get it checked all the time. And it's just something that I live with. It hurts while I'm driving. If I'm sitting for, you know, really long periods of time, it winds up you're getting pretty cramped. So we're going to find out and get a review from the doctor here in a couple days, and I'll put that one out there. For right now, I'm going to get back out and drive Uber, and then continue working on these videos and seeing what I can do to you know, make some more higher quality stuff. I tried putting you know, a thumbnail on my one, you know, from yesterday, and I think I got one view, and it might have just been me clicking on it. So I'm hoping that, you know, a few people go and do that. If you see this video, you'd like it, give me a like and a subscribe, please. You're helping out a beat up old combat vet trying to get a YouTube channel going. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna share my life experience, and hopefully somebody will get something positive out of it. I've gone through a lot, and I'll share it little by little as I go on, as much as I can. There's some of it I don't really like talking about much. I may have a hard time putting in a video, but, you know, this is my first shot at sharing a little window of myself and who I am. So yeah, please, if you see this, you know, please subscribe so I can get this thing going. I really want to get this to the point where it can be a side source of income. I really need it pretty badly. So it would be great if anybody would do that. And thank you. This is Rick's Media, signing out.